Today, we're going over one of the most epic redemption stories in history. It's 1292, and the Kingdom of Scotland is on the verge of an all-out civil war. 6 years earlier, the good King Alexander III died with no children of his own, and his only legitimate heir dies before she can be crowned. With no clear successor, 13 Scottish nobles laid their claim for the throne. The field is whittled down to two finalists, a man named John Balliol and Robert de Bruce, also known as Robert the Competitor, both of whom were descendants of the great Scottish King David I. Not trusting each other, they asked the King of England, Edward Longshanks, to come to Scotland to help decide who should rule. Though Edward was a terrifying man who had led a brutal conquest of Wales just a few years earlier, he had more or less been friendly to Scotland, and the nobles felt they could trust his judgment. But old Eddie Longshanks had secretly been waiting for this exact opportunity. We are live for the finale of Who Wants to Be the King of Scotland, and in just a few moments, we'll finally know who will be crowned as our king. Coming to the stage, not to be confused with his son or grandson with the exact same name, Robert the Bruce. Judge number 1, King Edward, your question please. If you are made King of Scotland, would you swear your loyalty to me? No, of course not. Scotland must be ruled by Scots. Good answer. John Balliol, same question. Maybe, I guess. John Balliol is King of Scotland. Wait, what? See, Edward had always wanted Scotland, but Alexander was a good king who was loved by his people. If he'd attempted an invasion earlier, the Scots would have fought tooth and nail to defend their home. But a new king, especially a weak one like John Balliol, could easily be made into a puppet, and that's exactly what Edward set out to do. Balliol was initially pumped to be the king, but Longshanks does not treat him as an equal, and time again, the new Scottish monarch is humiliated in front of his people. Eventually, King Edward demands a draft of local Scotsmen to help him in his war against the French. Balliol realizes that complying would fully admit that Scotland was nothing but a vassal state to England. With nothing left to lose, Balliol does the unthinkable and requests help from the King of France to stand up to King Edward. Word of this alliance reaches Longshanks and he's enraged. A vassal state allying with his greatest enemy could simply not go unpunished, and so he readies his army and begins plans for an invasion into Scotland. John Balliol frantically calls upon his nobles to raise their armies to defend the homeland, but the Bruce family rejects his call. See, the Bruces were all still salty about not being the King of Scotland, and they refused to accept Balliol as their legitimate king. In response, Balliol and his supporters, mainly the Cummins clan, confiscate